The beauty of this recipe is its simplicity, its clean flavors, its tanginess, its beauty, its adaptability. You can do absolutely anything with it. You can add absolutely anything you want. So if you want to try it, keep on watching. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a really simple recipe for a Middle Eastern cheese called labne. This cheese is usually made with goat's milk yogurt, but it can be made with full fat cow's milk yogurt. I've heard that it can be done with soya milk and non-dairy milks. I've never tried it, so I'm just going to show you the sort of traditional way of making it. It is not a complicated process. It's just a longish process. It'll take you between, or my preference is to make it between 48 and 72 hours. I want to make this one for 72 hours so that I can then form it into balls, which I can then preserve in olive oil in a jar. You can then add spices, you can add herbs, you can add garlic, and then when you serve it, you can chop herbs and roll the cheese balls in the herbs and accompany them with pita bread. They're delicious on salad with tomatoes and olives or part of a mezze. Once you preserve it in oil, you can keep it for a few weeks. So we're gonna start, and here I have a kilogram of full fat cow's milk yogurt. To that, I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of salt. You can make it with salt, you can make it without salt, you can make it with a mixture of salt and lemon. It really doesn't matter that much. So now I'm going to just mix it up to distribute the flavor and the saltiness of it all the way through. Because I use pink salt, I can see the ripples of the salt that hasn't been mixed in. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to have a bowl, and in that bowl I'm going to put a colander. You could put the standard colanders if you have a lot of cheese, and that should work all right. And that colander I am going to line with a muslin or a cheesecloth. If you don't have it, you can always use coffee filters, and you could double them up and open them so that you can cover your entire colander. If you have a bigger colander, you could separate them, right, and create sort of like a rose effect, so that they'll come up around the colander. They'll come right up, and your yogurt won't fall. Luckily, I have a cheesecloth. It has a hole in the middle. Mine has a hole in the middle because I use it for loads of things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a paper filter, in the colander. And then I am going to put my cloth inside. So now I'm completely covered. And I'm going to pour the yogurt into this muslin. I am going to bring the corners together. See, we want to, make sure that all the corners are together. You can tie it around, which I like to do. So you have like a little bag. And this, you're going to leave this in your refrigerator for 72 hours. After 72 hours, we'll come back and I'll show you what we're going to do with it. Hey guys, 72 hours have passed and we have our labne. As you might remember, I placed it in cheesecloth and drained it. You can do this on a colander as I did over a bowl, or if you have a pan and a pot that's deep enough, you could tie this. You could put a wooden spoon across the top of your pot. You can tie this to the spoon and let it hang. And in some places they even put it on the washing line and let it drain. So now I'm going to open it up. You can see how firm, you can even see it, how firm it's gone. All the way it's at the bottom of the bowl, and that way you can freeze and you can use it to bake. You can use it, some people use it to preserve other foods like making kimchi, preserving beetroot, and there are a million recipes where you can use your whey, and you already have it. It's beneficial, it's free, it has a lot of protein, so you might as well use it. You can use it for your face, you can use it for your skin, and you can definitely consume it. So, oh, look at this. It has the shape. It has the shape of the cloth and the way that it wrinkled. So I'm just gonna put it in this plate, and I'm gonna get rid of this for now. So with this, you can package it and use it as you would use cream cheese. What I would like to do is I would like to make like small balls of it and preserve it in oil, because that way, all that time that you've had to wait in order to make it, you can extend the delight of having your labne. So we're gonna make some balls and we're gonna preserve them in a fridge with olive oil covering it all the way. You will be able to keep it for a couple of weeks easily. If you want to have it immediately, you can make balls and roll it around in herbs, freshly chopped herbs. So let's see. So we're gonna do this. I have here, in one of my dishes, I have a little mixture of oregano and fennel seeds and cumin seeds. This is something that I haven't done it this time, but you could very easily toast it and give it that depth of flavor. I also have some from my garden, some mint, some oregano, and some rosemary, which I'm going to put in my jar, and that's going to help flavor the labne, and it's just going to marinate, and that's going to make a really delicious oil, which you can then use and drizzle it over salad, or if you want to eat this labne with flatbread. But you know what, I love eating it with some French stick and really crusty bread, because the contrast with the crustiness and the softness of the cheese, and then you get the gorgeous flavor of the herbs, the freshness of the herbs, the woodiness of herbs such as rosemary is incredible. So I'm going to put some oil in my jar. I'm just going to put I don't know, I'm going to say 2 inches, and I'm going to start putting my balls in. I'm going to move quickly because it's really hot, and I don't want this to my hands are going to get hot, and I don't want them to sort of just stick to the palm of my hand rather than taking advantage of the whole product. I'm going to wet my hands. I'm going to rinse my hands because all the cheese is sticking to me. So I'm going to make this last ball. And I'm going to rinse my hands, and I want to make a couple more, but I'm going to leave some of this labne. I'm not going to make it into balls, and I'm going to show you another way you can present it, which is beautiful. And it's great if you have a party, just to put it in the middle of the dinner party, and you just have one sharing platter. You can just put it in the middle of the table. I'm going to put a little bit of oil in my hands. I'm going to just dip my fingers. See if it makes it easier. I don't want to put water and introduce water. Oh, that's gorgeous. Perfect. Look at that. That's perfect. I'm separating them because I wouldn't want them to get stuck in there. As a little treat, I am going to put some of these seeds on a plate, mix them together, and I'm going to roll my balls on them. Just chuck them in there. It'll just give another dimension to your little collection of labne. It doesn't matter if it goes inside, you get that crunch. You could also add, before you strain it, one of the things that you could make is, or that you could do is put some garlic, garlic salt or minced garlic, very finely minced garlic with your mixture so that your labne has that garlicky flavor and it's already seasoned. I'm going to cover my labne with oil. I'm going to make sure that it's completely covered. Put it in the fridge and it'll help preserve it. It'll preserve it for a couple of weeks, as I said before. Your olive oil is going to solidify. The better quality olive oil you use, the quicker and milkier it's going to look. But as soon as you bring it out to room temperature, it will completely start to melt and break down and you'll be able to remove your labne. I think that in those little balls of labne in a platter with some roasted vegetables, some roasted artichoke or some dried tomatoes, some olives, some flat breads would be, so it would be really delicious and it would really transport you to the Middle East. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to serve the labne in a slightly different way. I'm going to just put it in a dish and we're going to spread it and we're going to sprinkle some herbs. And then people can just scoop it up. You can scoop it up with your knife. You can scoop it up with, I don't know if you have like a chip or something like that. That would be lovely. And then just sprinkle it with some herbs. You can sprinkle it with toasted pine nuts, some toasted sesame. Just make your own recipe. It's really flexible. It's very, very easy. And it's one of these things that you can really personalize. You can just leave it be, put it in the fridge. It's very easy, let it be. You can do it for 12 hours, 24 hours, 72 hours. It's completely up to you. The firmer you want it, the longer you leave it. And make sure, as I said before, that you save the weight, which you can then use for baking, preserving, and all sorts of stuff. There are loads of resources online where you can research it. Enjoy. Come back and visit me. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram at Little Cravings Catering. I always have little tips or little recipes. So come and join me. Take care.